Dijak announces his WWE departure. Plus, a former AEW champion returned at the Collision tapings last night, and Randy Orton is pushing for Matt Riddle's WWE return. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Ratio this. Dijak's going?
He's just stuck a tweet out saying that he is leaving WWE. He's finishing up with them tomorrow following what he calls a frustrating period of what should have been contract negotiations. The tweet is printed onto paper. He's taken a picture of it with his mobile phone. He signed it. There's a naughty word in there. What does it say, Tom?
Here's the truth. WWE never negotiated with me. We attempted to negotiate and they stonewalled us. They never made me a single offer. Then they informed me they would not renew my contract at the 11th hour. 2 months ago, I was in one of the best matches in NXT history and a top match of WrestleMania weekend. On that day, a top executive in WWE told me I was crushing it. I was slated to feud for the NXT title, but got called up to Raw instead. I consistently outperformed everyone's expectations, especially throughout 2023 and early 2024. I never complained about anything or was difficult to work with. I tirelessly pitched ideas to anyone who would listen as recently as the day before I was notified. I never once missed a booking. I was injured one time in 7 years for 3 months. I am thankful, I'm disappointed, but also excited. This has lit a fire under me to relentlessly prove myself to the world. All I ever wanted was a fair shot, and now I have the opportunity to go out and take it. That's enough talk. Now it's time to do or die, Jack.
I like that.
My last day under a WWE contract is June 28th, 2024. Get ready to feast your effing eyes.
Goodness gracious. This is a bit of a shocker, actually. I won't lie. I forgot that he'd even been called up to Raw because they did precisely nothing with him. I know he's been doing the odd main event and that sort of stuff. Main event, the TV program, not main event, the proper thing. But yeah, I think he's a really, really solid all-rounder. I like his kind of final boss gimmick that he's been doing. And he feels like he would be a Triple H guy. I can imagine Triple H just like wanting to keep Dijak about. I think he's a very talented man. I don't think he's going to be short of bookings. And you know where I immediately thought, oh, this is where he's going to go? TNA. I think a final boss sort of thing in TNA. I think he would really flourish there. I think like if he were to head to AEW, he might get lost in the mix. As well, like loads of Japanese promotions as well might fancy a bit of Dijak.
I could see that happening. You say, obviously, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that, like, oh, I forgot that he was on the books. A lot of people hadn't, because despite the fact that he never wrestled on Raw, there were several occasions where Dijak would trend during Raw. Even if he made an appearance, maybe, I think there was a match against Pete Dunne that was filmed for main event during an episode, at the start of an episode of Raw, that gave people some hope, but was constantly a force on Twitter that people were trying to rally and get behind. In fact, he's only had 11 matches this year. Only 2 of those have been as part of the main roster. It was that aforementioned loss to Pete Dunne for main event, and a loss to Xavier Woods during a WWE Speed Top Contenders tournament on Twitter. Of all the places where you think, I know, right? But of all the places you think where Dijak should be storming it should be a show exclusively on Twitter.
Yeah,
his Twitter game has been amazing.
He's so good at it. And you know what? That suggests that he's going to be totally fine and will continue to get people talking. The fact that he has been trending various times throughout the year and absolutely kills it. The guy knows how to market himself, and that means that a lot of promotions will want to work with him. I imagine he will go and do some indies, but I don't think it'll be too long before he gets picked up by a major US promotion, if that's where he wants to stay, for sure, because like world's his oyster essentially, and it's really good. It's like, obviously there's the shades of Cody Rhodes in the printed out thing signed at the bottom, and Cody went away and absolutely killed it and came back, and he's a massive star. I'm not necessarily saying that Dijak is going to do exactly that, although I think he has the potential to really impress. He'll be totally fine, but that does sound like a very frustrating thing to have to go through.
Now, playing devil's avocado on
Here
this one.
we go.
Now, Is this a work? Are they playing us nerds like a fiddle? Now, Triple H was on the Pat McAfee show and spoke about the current WWE audience. He said, our fan base is so ravenous for content. There's nothing else that episodically airs. I say this a lot. We're not a sport. We are a movie about a sport or a TV show about a sport. The interest of all the other things happening are just as great as what happens in the ring. People are so interested in not just the storylines, but who are the real people behind the storylines, the drama behind it. If you're younger or want to buy into that much, the drama of the storylines, if you're in a different mindset, the drama of what's happening behind the scenes. Is this guy leaving? Has he signed a contract? Is he going to stay? I heard he has problems with management. They're trying to restrict his style. Whatever your mindset is, you can go there and follow up on a regular basis. The content's easy to watch and easy to understand. You can sit on a bus or a train and watch clips. I want to just chuck that out there.
Okay, no, cover yourself. Go on.
Just covering myself. just covering myself in bubble wrap, just in case I get thrown out of a metaphorical window. Because we're seeing Brooks. We saw like Brooks Jensen.
That's it.
Brooks Jensen was one that certainly got us talking recently because he did that thing where he said, "Oh, book me. Here's my, book me
the email
here."
address and everything.
The email address. Turn up at indie shows. Is kind of there, but they're obviously playing that on screen as well. Would you have two characters doing the same thing? Probably not.
That's exactly it. That's why I think that this is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon so anyway. I think it's worth talking about the fact because they do like to mess with us, but no, I reckon Dijak might be gone. Almost all of Retribution now. They could almost reform.
What a great idea.
Ooh, they're all out there,
Joey
aren't they?
Janela's spring break.
There you go.
You know what to do.
Don't fire Meechin. I quite like her. She's decent.
Don't fire Meechin. Now let's talk about Matt Riddle very briefly. He was on Muscle Man Malcolm's show and he was asked about his former RK bro buddy, Randy Orton. And in answering this, he gave some interesting detail.
He said, I talked to Randy probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago about an arcade, obviously. We talked about some other stuff, just hanging out. He always asked me if I want to come back, and I'm like, maybe one day. Right now, with the kid and everything, I'm enjoying my time, and I'm trying to get my life all together. Not that you'll ever get your life together, but yeah, he's spot on. Things have been really good. I'm focusing on myself and other things. So, would you want to see it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's other places he should be really rather than WWE, in my opinion.
I think he's perhaps proved himself to be a bit of a liability. It's good to hear
there
that
is that too.
I think it's good to hear that he's been working on himself, but he very much sort of lives the gimmick, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? I really liked Riddle. Like, I thought...
Randy liked Riddle as well.
Eventually.
Yeah, but eventually.
I really thought that, hey, this is a guy that is going to appeal to young people. Because he was cool. He was a really, really cool guy. For the most part, a cool character. Mini scooter and what was it? Pigeons came flying. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, I think he was really, really marketable, but he was perhaps and you know what? I think he's admitted this himself in the past. A little bit of a liability. You don't know what you're getting with him. Bit of a loose cannon, perhaps. Unpredictable, to say the least. But I don't know. Best of luck to him and everything. I saw he popped up at somebody's birthday party very recently. Did you see the video?
Did he burst out of a cake with all the pigeons?
Not quite. No. What do you think? No. Health and safety, Tom. Food hygiene.
I didn't see that. No,
he came out, and I think a lot of people were sort of laughing at him, but I imagine he got paid all right for it. It's it always winds me up when you see people like get released. And then people take the piss because they're in like high school gyms and stuff like that. If they're working, they're working. They're cracking on with it and everything. Best of luck.
We've got money to earn, for goodness sake, Shaky Jake. Now, from possible returns to definite returns, AEW taped the go-home episode of Collision before Forbidden Door from Buffalo, New York last night. And
Spoiler alert!
Had a return, that's it. Yeah, if you don't want to know what happened, look away now. So there's Serena Deeb. She beats, in a pretty quick fashion, Kelly Madden, and then says she's looking for competition on her level, which brings out
Riho.
Hey!
She's back.
Former AEW Women's Champion Riho went nose to nose, toes to toes with Serena Deeb, building to a future match. This is her first appearance on AEW programming since a loss to Willow Nightingale back in March. She returned to Japan to renew her US visa. She wasn't sure whether an AEW return would be on the cards, but she's one of those that will just continue to pop up. She's got the legacy there in the AEW Women's division, so she's somebody that they can utilize to work with people they're bringing through the up and up.
Yep, I really like her. I don't have too much to say about her. I think she's really decent. I think she's handy to have on the roster, and I'm glad she's back.
Just in time for Forbidden Door. I don't think she'll be a part of that, but just in time for Forbidden Door. But just in time for Forbidden Door, predictions with Ross and I later today on the channel, plus live reactions for every punch and kick and all that of the show on Sunday. Live reactions followed by what happened at Forbidden Door with Jack the Jobber as well. Also on the podcast feed today, unrelated to Forbidden Door, Desert Island Graps with Big Vito.
I saw that. I'm absolutely buzzing to hear it. And I've seen the clips. I haven't listened to the full thing yet, but I saw the clips that you'd posted. He proper opens up, doesn't he? He seems like a really nice bloke.
I said, look, it'll take about 20 minutes. We went nearly 2 hours.
Oh.
And he's just great. We talk about every aspect of his wrestling career, loads of non-wrestling stuff. Obviously, he's really open about sort of the heartbreaking moment where he became a carer for his wife. Literally the day they got married, she got injured and he's been a carer for 10 years. How it led him away from wrestling and how it led him back into wrestling as well. And he gives us a lot of mob stories too.
Obviously.
At one point, he talks about shaking somebody outside a window. So what more could you want from Big Vito?
Just one question. Is he looking to get back into it?
I think he might be. Who do you think deserves getting their feet shaken out of a window? I don't know who you could be thinking of, because we're all lovely here. More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.